All right, class, go ahead and take a seat. We're going to change up subjects today, and we're going to focus on something new. What we're going to be working on today is finding the area of a rectangle and a square. Now, we've talked about rectangles and squares before, so rectangles and squares are just four-sided figures that have, a square has two pairs of parallel lines, same length, or four sides that are the same length and two parallel lines, whereas a rectangle has two sides that are the same length, and both of them are parallel as well. Okay, so area in just trying to describe area, as you're explaining it to you, is the measurement designed to show us how a space fits into an object. It can either be a room, a box, a house, or a geometric shape. Using the various formulas for finding area will tell you how much space there is inside an object. Think about your room, okay? Let's say your parents want to rip out the carpet in your room and they want to put in hardwood floors. They need to know how much hardwood floors they're going to need to put inside of your room, so they're going to need to know the measurement of your room. Okay? So let's kind of try to figure that out. We'll get back to that a little bit later. So area is just the measurement of a given region in a two-dimensional figure. Think about the room again, okay? You want to just put down the floor. You want to know the length and you want to know the width. You don't need to put flooring on the walls, so it's only a two-dimensional with your length and width. You don't need the height. So area is just about a two-dimensional. Think of a piece of paper of just it being flat. It's just got a length and a width. It doesn't really have a height, okay? So the next thing I want you to think about is when we're talking about area, we're talking about squares. So area just means the number of squares, whatever measurement size that we're using, that fits into this given area. Back to the room idea. Everyone, I want you to take a look down at the ground. Now, what do you see? You see a square tile, right? Yeah. That is a 1 by 1 square tile. 1 foot by 1 foot length and width. And that's what area is. It's just thinking about how many of these 1 by 1 squares we can fit into just any place. Any room, any surface area, any piece of land, anything, any sandbox, anything like that. Okay? So go ahead and write this down. I'm going to give you the formula now, and this is the formula for both squares and rectangles. Its area is equal to length times width, or A equals L times W. Okay? Now let's look at my first example. So I just drew out some squares here. I just drew out 6 inches wide by 6 inches long, and I noted it. They're actually, my measurements actually are correct, surprisingly, and they are 1 by 1 inch squares. So how do we find out how many of these 1 by 1 inch squares fit into this 6 by 6 square? So it's easy. We just take the 6 times the 6, the length times the width, and what do we get? 36. That's right. So now, nothing changes with a rectangle, and I drew another one like this. This is 6 inches wide and 4 inches long. Okay? So it's the same situation. They're still 1 by 1 squares. Now you could count them out like this, but you would have to draw it out like this. So the easy way to do it, like we talked about earlier, is area is equal to length times width. 6 times 4 is 24. That is the area of this square. Okay, so now let's try another one, a little bit more difficult. If our length is 36, and go ahead and get out your pieces of paper and follow along with me, keep up with this on this one. Let's think of a house. A house is 36 feet long by 25 feet wide, and it's just a one-story house, so we don't have to worry about it. We just want to gut the whole thing and put new floors in it. So what do you do on that? It's still the same formula, even though it's a rectangle, just like I showed here earlier. It's still 36 times 25, and that area of that house would be 900 feet. The length of 36, the width of 25 feet, and the area equals 900 feet squared. Now here's the instance where I want to really denote here, guys. Area is measured in whatever unit you're doing. We did feet here. Earlier we did inches. But area is always shown with a small 2 above your unit. It means squared. It's just showing that you took two of the same similar lengths and you multiplied it together. Like we talked about, it's a two-dimensional figure. So this denotes that this is the measurement of the area of a two-dimensional figure. So every time you use area, whatever unit you finish with has to be denoted by a 2 at the top, a small 2 just above, just like this. So let's get back to the let's go get back to the room. Now, Leslie's parents want to rip out the carpet and put in hardwood floors. Her room measures 13 feet long by 11 feet wide. Let's get back to the area. What do you think that'll be? It'll be 13 times 11. So we know that Leslie's parents need to get at least 100 enough hardwood floors to cover 143 squared foot area to fill up the room. Okay? So, now, I want you guys to go ahead and work. I'm going to hand out some math worksheets. I want you guys, and you can either work individually or you may work in groups of no more than 3. These 3 assignments need to be completed. 2 are very simple, another one's a little difficult. But if you need help, just go ahead and raise your hand. I'll be walking around helping you out. Now, I think this is a pretty good review. If you still have a few questions, like I said earlier, raise your hand. I'll come by and help.